Howdy everybody. This morning we're going to talk about quivers a little bit. What's the best quiver for you? And I got an assortment of quivers out here that I've used every one of them. And anyway, we'll look through them. I'll show you what I like about them, what some of them maybe I don't like about. And it's kind of like bows. Everybody has their favorite one and the next guy may hate it. But I mean, there you have it. We'll look at these quivers. It's man, it's humid. I'm about to sweat, and it's early this morning. It rained last night. The humidity is terrible. It's hot, and I have to keep an eye on my camera there. It may fog up. But anyway, let's get started. Let's talk about quivers. I will tell you the first quiver I ever used. I mean, I've been shooting a bow a long time, and even as a kid, was out of a piece of pipe, and had duct tape on the end of it. Not duct tape, but electrical tape. I don't think they had duct tape then, but it was old black sticky tape, and I put some hay down in it and had a hay string to cover up, tote it with, and that wore my shoulder. So eventually I got the sleeve off of an old shirt and run the string through the sleeve, twisted the sleeve up, and that's what I carried with me. That was hunting small game and stuff like that around the house, and chasing my grandma's chickens, which will get you beat, by the way. And then after that, the first quiver I used was this one. I actually made this quiver here from a deer that I killed with a rifle. 6.5 by 55 Swedish Mauser. I don't remember the deer, none of that, but I do remember what I shot him with. And anyway, I actually used this quiver, and I put a piece of cloth in here and put oats in there for my broadheads. And I don't know where I got that from. Somebody had to have told me that or something, but oats, wheat or oats. Anyway, whatever grain we had in the bin, I put in there. And anyway, I built me a little pouch here to put my possibles in there, and a compass. It didn't have the little flat compass in. It had that big one, like a Boy Scout that you opened up. And these are some cedar arrows right here. They don't even have points on them. One of them does. But anyway, and I took this joker here, and I used the little metal hanger like goes on a shower curtain. I had that hooked on there. You can take one of them out of your grandma's shower. She'll never miss it if you space it just right. And hook that joker on my belt there. We went to town like that. So that's I mean, we did a lot of hunting, and you could tell from the wear. I toted that joker many miles. You could actually see blue off of my blue jeans on there. How about that? That's the first quiver I ever made and ever used, really, other than that pipe one. And this one here, I was actually shooting at critters with this. I was toted this hunting. Look at another one. Probably the next quiver I used was a Howard Hill quiver, and it wasn't this one. This one's kind of new. It ain't even broke in. But I used the Howard Hill quiver for a long time, because you got to remember that was before all the magazines and the internet, and I thought that's what you're supposed to use. I think there was a magazine called Bow and Arrow, and I would buy them when they were at the store, or my mama would for me. And anyway, this one's not broke in. I actually got this one from Steve Young. His parents are the one who came up with the Vidalia onion, by the way. But anyway, I got this from him, and these kind of quivers don't work for me. And they're good like if you're just wearing around the chutes, and maybe in open country. And when you do get it broke in, it'll flatten out, and when you got it on your back, it'll mold to your back, and you can lean over and your arrows don't fall out and all that. But it don't work for me. I hunt in thick country. And some people swear by them. They don't want to use nothing else, and you better not say nothing bad about them neither. But they don't work for me. It's good for putting arrows in the house and maybe going to a bow shoot if you do that sort of thing. But in the country that I hunt in, you see that? And I actually burnt that this year in the winter, so it's usually much thicker. And I mean, I hunted stuff like this, and many times I've walked up within 20 yards of a pig, and before I saw him, and you just can't afford all that movement and arrow dragging. It just don't work for me. They're beautiful though. I mean, they look the part, and I love Robin Hood, and I've told you before, that's what started me hunting, was reading the book about Robin Hood, about bow hunting. And this would be kind of like his quiver, I guess, in all the movies you see, but it don't work for me. In open country, maybe, But like you're hunting thick country where you're going to walk up on hogs really close at any time, your option is to carry an arrow on the string. And that's dangerous. For me, I fall down a lot. I'm just healing up from falling down, so I'm not going to walk around with an arrow on the string because you can't retrieve one quiet out of this without, you got all this movement right here. Getting it over your shoulder don't work. But like I said, in open country, or maybe if you grew up and this is all you use, you probably mastered it. I do know you can pull it under your arm and go under stuff, and it, you know, you can get good at it if this is what you had to use. But there you go, the Howard Hill quiver. And it's a back quiver. I don't necessarily say Howard Hill quiver. It's what he used and John Schultz used, and they loved them, but they didn't hunt this kind of country right here. Next, we'll talk about the Plains Indian style quiver. I made this quiver to use what's got mud on it. I hunted with this quiver now. I used it with my stone points this year, and this is a fine quiver. It's glued in here, and you turn your heads flat in there, and they don't move as much. You put them on down in the bottom and kind of keeps them from messing up. But where you're using steel points, you'd have to do something because this is fine leather. They push right through it. And I built me a little bag here to put stuff in, and got a pretty thick belt on it, and it's hooked in here. I have a piece of thick river cane in here that it goes around to hold it. And you know, you wear this joker. I got adjustments made it where I could adjust it, and you wear this joker like this. And I kind of like this quiver, I really do. With steel points, I'd have to do some, but you know, you get on pigs, you can come out with an arrow pretty quick, pretty quiet, and it's just it works good. Looks cool too, and pretty comfortable. And if you got a pack on your back, you put the strap over the pack. And my only drawback to these style quivers, or even some of my other quivers I'll show you, I got a neck problem in this muscle right here. And if I'm on an all-day hunt, I can't take a strap on that very long. I mean, like for hours and hours. Just going tree stand hunting, that sort of thing, it ain't no big deal. But walking all day, it begins to ache my neck right there. But this is a good choice. It's nice for the 3D shoot probably. Looks pretty cool. It you know, it airs in and out pretty good. There again, if you're going to use steel broadheads, you'd need to come up with something down here that would keep it from getting dull and rattling. And I like these quivers here. Like I said, I used it and took game while using this quiver this year. The next quiver we'll talk about is the dogware quiver. This is a fine quiver. I've used this joker for a long time. It's got tons of wear on it. It's wears pretty good. The only problem with this quiver again is my neck right here. If you don't have neck problems, good. And I towed it back to the stand, but toting it all day, it bothers me. Sometimes I'll pull it over and wear it like this towards the end of my hunt, you know. But this is a fine quiver. Protects your arrows. Got foam in there, and watch the arrow come out of here. You sneak up on something, you just do it like this. Drop the arrow down, and then you put it on the string. That's pretty cool. Put it back in just like this and stick it in there. I've actually worn that from pulling arrows in and out. This is a fine quiver. It's even got a little deal here. You can put a file for those of y'all that miss. Need to sharpen your head. I never miss. I don't have to do that. But anyway, this is a fine quiver. And he's got one with this is another version of that. I mean, it's a dogware quiver, but it's got pockets on it. You can put stuff in. Something in that one. That's a file. I must have carried that along to Chris when he misses. But anyway, fine quiver. I put they have mine was began to bend a lot right here with use, so I just simply put a stiffener in there. I put me a old carbon arrow shaft in there to stiffen it up. And this one here, I took a little thin pipe and fit it in there. I don't know if you can see it. And I cut sections out of it to make it light where it wasn't heavy, and I made it, and it works good. Put some, can you see that in there? I got some foam in it for my arrowheads. You put your arrows you're gonna grab quick right up here close, so when you don't have to look, you just reach down there and grab the arrow closest to this side. You know you got a broadhead. I like this quiver because you can carry a lot of arrows. And I have shot out of arrows before, and it wasn't only because I was missing, it's because I feel I had critters stacked up knee high. But you can carry a lot of arrows, and you can carry practice points and squirrel arrows and all that sort of thing. This is a fine quiver right here, fine quiver. And this is by far my favorite quiver. And I'm not sure if old John Pardue, he's my hillbilly friend, I'm not sure if he makes these anymore. If he doesn't, then I guess another good choice would be old Rod Jenkins' quiver. He builds a quiver similar to this, except it's flatter. That'd probably be a good choice as well. Arrowmaster, that's the name of it. But these are fine quivers here. The next quiver I'll show you, this was an old Delta quiver. And I actually used to have this as a bow quiver on a Black Widow long recurve I had. I had an old MA with the long riser. And it was mounted a fine bow quiver too. It was good and solid. Holds 7 arrows. And I think Chris Bikes uses one of these. He needs the 7 arrows. But anyway, it's a fine quiver. And one day I was, the strap was bothering my neck. I looked at this, and so I just turned the adapters here, you know, that ties to the bow. I took them and reversed them, put my old deal right here on there, and now I can just clip that on my belt, or either on my, if I got my pack, I can click it on my pack. It's got right there at hand, you can hold it. And you don't want to, I've seen people tie them to their legs and stuff, and every time you walk, this yucker's doing this. And you're just flagging at animals. I'd rather have it right here. If I get on something, I can kind of ease my hand down there and hold it. And if I'm really close, you can unsnap it if you're going through some super thick stuff. I've actually had it with a strap on it. And you know, around your shoulder, it don't weigh anything. And you know, you can get it under your arm as you're walking there, and it's still, there again, it holds 7 arrows. This is a fine quiver as well. I use this a lot, especially in the summer when I don't want packs and straps and all that on my back for the heat. Or I say summer during August when I'm hunting small game in August. And even if I'm hunting out of a deer stand and packing my stand and all that stuff, I use this hooked on my thing, or either that dog wear. But because you don't have any straps going across your back when you're dealing with your stand and your pack and all that, this is a good choice. And you can get I usually wear I'll take an old hat, like a camo hat, pull over your head hat, pull it over here, and run me a little string here in it and tie it to kind of cover my feathers. And you can take a plastic bag and put over it, and then that hat, and actually, there you go, you're weatherproof right there. Fine quiver. This is I remember right, a Delta, but I mean, this is old. This is really, it's probably 30 years old. But there's probably, I'm sure there's some others similar to this. And you can, I bought this quiver out of at an archery store, and they have their little junk bin there, and the bracket, it was missing or broke or something. It didn't have a bracket to attach to a bow. And shoot, this is just what I would need right here. Some of you guys that want to use a quiver similar to this, you can take this, and I would put something on that hood, that plastic, it'll bang and clang. Put you some leather on it or something like that, and mount you a board on here, kind of at an angle like this, a stick, and it'll come up like this, and you can hook it on your side, wear it on your side at that angle, or you can just tie a string on it. Gnats are killing me. Tie a string on it and use it like this with one of these, whatever you call that thing there, or something off your grandma's shower curtain. That would work too. But it I think holds a whole bunch of arrows. Chris, I may give this to him. But anyway, this is a cheap way out too. And I'm no pauper by no means. The Lord has blessed me, but I don't have a whole lot of money to spend on stuff needless. I've been poor before, and I don't spend money that I don't have to. And you could spend $300 for a quiver, or you can get something like this that works just as good. It depends on what you want to do. And cheap is better for me. Buy a cheap quiver, take the wife out for supper a couple times, and that earns me hunting time. Buy an expensive quiver, and it puts me in the doghouse. You figure it out. So now let's talk about bow quivers. And let me go ahead and throw this out there. I hate bow quivers. I don't like them on my bow. But they're a necessity sometimes. They're just so much more convenient. When it comes to shooting the bow, I can't stand a quiver on it. But there again, if you're hunting 2 miles deep, stand, backpack, because you don't drag deer in and out. You ball them out right there, so you take everything you need when you go in. and a bow quiver is simply more convenient. And they're tolerable when you practice with them. I would suggest you practice with them sometimes they seem to stiffen my arrows, if that makes any sense, shooting. And they'll make my arrows shoot a little bit tail right. And it could be me torquing for the way, I don't know, I can't explain the reason, but I'm telling you, don't shoot your bow a whole lot, then put a quiver on it, go hunting without trying it out. And this is a sailway quiver. You can see it's a slide on. It slides on the bow here. And it once you slide it on there and get it tight, it stays there. And the quality is like very, very good quality with anything. I've had a couple of sailway quivers and I cannot complain about the quality. It's perfect. And and I love it, there's plenty of room for big broadheads. It easy in and out. It holds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 arrows, and I think they got some that holds less and some that hold more. But they're good quivers. They're really good quivers. And got foam. I like this foam in here. I like foam in there. And you can buy the replacement foam. I once had an old 3D deer target that was shot all to pieces, and I took the ham part of it and I made foam out of that. And a lot of the stuff, like if you buy something, everybody's buying stuff online that gets shipped to you, it'll come with some foam, and that white foam that falls all apart is no good, but there's some good foam in there sometimes that you can use to make this stuff with. You may figure out I don't buy nothing. It just, you have to order it, and I just, if I got something I can make, it'll work just as good. I ain't gonna buy it. But anyway, the drawback to this quiver is that there's no adjustment to it. You're gonna put it where it's tight, and that's where it stays. And this happens to work out perfect for me. I love it the way it's sitting in here. It balances out on my bow. And I say this because you can't put the quiver out here in the working part of the limb. You got to slide it past the fades a little bit so that it's solid for one, but you don't need anything out here on the working part of your limb. It'll affect how your bow shoots. And so with these, there's no adjustment. You slide it down till it's tight, and usually it's past the fade outs right there, and you're good. But a counter for that is I actually make one, and I don't own one, so I don't know. I hate to speak to stuff I don't own, because then I'm giving somebody else's opinion, and this is my opinion, and it's an opinion that has been tested. But I know the quality of the sailway quiver is really, really good, and they make one with a strap that has, I think it's got this V part here. I mean, this part the bow goes in, but then there's a strap, so it gives you adjustment, so you can place it where you want it on the bow and strap it in. And even though I've not used one, if you want something that moves, I would recommend, because I know the quality of these sailway quivers. And there are other brands out there, but this is what I have in my experience. So anyway, sailway, that's a fine quiver. If you're going to have one that's not real heavy either. And this one's going to stay on this bow. This is my Mohawk Sparrowhawk Vince made. I think he quit making bows. All he does is ride around on a motorcycle these days, I believe. But anyway, this is a fine bow. And we're going to take this bow hunting this year, Lord willing. All right, this is the last quiver I'm going to show you. This is a Great Northern quiver. It's a strap-on. You see the straps here? And I've got, appreciate Steve Angel. He gave me this quiver. I put online, I was looking for one, and he wasn't using it and gave it to me. He's a good friend. Thank you, Steve. But this is a fine quiver. This is on my bow Tracy White made for me. My persimmon bow. You'll see it in action, I hope, this year. But there again, I hate bow quivers, but this is another good option. And the good thing about this quiver is you can put it where you want it on there, right? Like I was just talking about the strap-on sailway. Well, this is a different kind of strap-on, but you can put it on the bow where you want it, balance your bow out. It holds 5 arrows and holds them pretty solid, and it's a pretty quiet quiver. I would encourage you, when you put your quiver on your bow, put arrows in it, hit it, and see if you hear anything. And I hadn't played with this much. I was actually tuning this bow yesterday, and I got it shooting pretty good. And it shoots pretty hard. It shoots good. But I can tell you right now, it's not as forgiving as a hill style bow because of the speed, what I'm used to, and it's a little shorter. And it makes me tighten my form down, but it's much faster. and it's a fine bow. But the quiver also on the Great Northern, if you're going to buy one, get the adjustable one, in my opinion, because it'll fit on any length riser bow. You can slide it together. They have some that are, it's a set distance right here. You can adjust it, and so there again, you moving the quiver up and down like this, and you don't have the ability to play like you do with the adjustable quiver here. And I only think it costs just a few bucks more. And it straps in place here wherever you want it. Remember, get it past your fades. See, my fades are way out here, so I got it within the fades towards the riser. And also, one thing that I do not like about this quiver, it's got a hard rubber deal in there. The air, you know, to put the arrows in. I don't like that. Once you cut it in, I guess it holds securely, and the foam is not as deep as the Sailway. You can see I got these Simmons heads right here, Simmons Safari, and the head don't. You got to go right in them slots there, and you have to do them just right to fit in there, and you do most any quiver. But I don't like that hard plastic. And I've had these quivers before, and I've always, when that stuff got wore, I tore it out, and I put foam in it. I didn't buy no Great Northern replacement. I put a foam deal in there. I like the foam better. And believe this or not, and I've done this and proven it, that you can have a broadhead sharpened, file sharpened, and with a rock, put it in that foam, and to a point, it'll actually help sharpen it. And that just flew in my eye. You can take a file sharpened head, shoot it in a 3D target one time, and it straps the broadhead and makes it sharp. But you do it over and over, it does it. But I like the foam, I don't like the rubber. And another tip for this, but I'm not taking away from the quiver, it's a fine quiver, but I'm just telling you what I do not like about it. You hear the dog over there? Daisy Mae! She just come running around the corner there. But anyway, a tip for you here. When you get this thing strapped into place, take in, you see the little strap here? Take your one drop, tiny drop of super glue there, and glue that down. And just one little small drop, do the same thing here. When you're going through the woods, if you're trailing something or you're going through a thick place, the limb pull that off, unravels all your stuff, and you got to sit down and fix it. But you can put that little drop, and then if you're going to take the quiver off later on or something, all you got to do is take your knife and just cut through that little bit. But put you a drop of super glue on that to hold it down. And like I said, I just set this bow up. I'm just getting it right. Still, I got to put, every bow I shoot has a grip on it. When I say grip, leather or something like that, and I've gone accustomed to it. And I don't like this bow without a grip, so I'm gonna put me a tennis wrap on it, I think, and it'll be ready to go. So there you go. I want you to look what some beauty right here, though. Is that not pretty? But anyway, there's my take on quivers. And man, it's getting hot. I'm finna go jump in the pool. And you know, use what you like. Use what you like, and you'll learn. Especially if you're a beginner, you'll learn what works for you. And it's really good these days because the internet. If you do buy something and you don't like it, it's easy to get rid of it, and at not such a big loss. You know, you can horse trade it or sell it and buy you something else. And it's just like anything in archery. You can spend a lot of money or not so much. And depends on if you're a frill kind of person. If you got to have all the frills, you know, how much money you spend. Because they're pretty much all functional. There's I will show you one more quiver. Big Jim makes this quiver. I should have put it on a bow, but I didn't. It's a strap-on quiver, and it gets on there pretty tight. And this quiver is not expensive at all. It holds 5 arrows there. And this is a good option for you. I wish I'd have put it on a bow and told you about it. But anyway, this is a fine quiver. It's cheap. And when I say cheap, it's not cheap made. It's not expensive. That's a better word. And they work good. And there's some others. My buddy Dendy Cromer, he uses quivers similar to this, and kills a whole bunch of stuff. And you'll see there's plenty of room for your head. See how those are stuck in there? Plenty of room for broadheads in there. And I used this on my self bow one time, and convenient, and may do it again. But this is a good quiver too, a good option, and it'll fit any kind of bow. These strap-on quivers, longbow, recurve, don't matter. It'll work for you. And it's a pro and a con. Your air feathers are kind of in a tight group down here, and if you shoot big feathers, it's hard to arrange them where they don't touch each other and scrub when you shoot, making that racket. But if you shoot smaller feathers, but you can arrange and make it work in there for you, because you got to put the broadheads a certain way, so it takes away some of your adjustments on how your feathers match up. But I forgot this one. This is a good quiver as well, and but it is it's lightweight, and I really can't say anything bad about it. It's a fine quiver, and I may put it on some. If I was using my Northern Mist longbow and I just had to put a quiver on it because I'm hunting and going deep, then it'd probably be this little lightweight quiver right here. So there you have it. That's my take on quivers. And look at how big this is. This in your hand. It's my take on quivers. You got to have one. You can't tote your arrows around in your pocket if you're hunting. And I would suggest you practice with your quiver a lot. And then there are a lot more other quivers. These are just my opinion, and I only give my opinion on what I use. And so there you have it. If I use something else, I'll let you know. But these are that's what I use. And the main thing you want to, safety comes first. I've seen guys with some sort of a quiver that fit on their limbs with no cap over the broadheads. That's some kind of dangerous. That don't do it. That's one thing about the Howard Hill quiver. I was carrying it one day and I leaned over and my arrow slid out like that. What about it fell? I'd have fell on some broadheads. And I read a horror story one time where a guy was riding a horse, fell off the horse, his arrows come out and he fell on the arrows. I mean, that was a true story. Hey, what are you doing? She's been in the pond swimming down there. Done got hot. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this. We'll do some more. I think the next one we're going to talk about is broadheads. Everybody has a perfect broadhead. We'll talk about broadheads on the next video. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I think today may be the first day of July. How about that? Time is flying. We got a whole month of July and then a couple of weeks in August and we'll be hunting. And so that's why I'm leaning towards hunting gear, getting ready to go. And because Lord willing, we're going to be shooting some stuff. All right. So thank you, good Lord, for a fine day. Good health. Recovered from a leg injury. I'm feeling pretty good. And it's a blessing to be alive, especially right here in South Georgia. God bless y'all.